Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of VGC Prep. Today we're going to be we're going to be playing on Showdown, simply because, Wi-Fi is down for a couple of days, and while I could battle people, on my friends list, I'd kind of just rather hit Showdown for a little bit to show you some teams that I'm working on. This one's going to be Meowstick. This is actually the Mega Banette team, and it's always going to be called and considered the Mega Banette team, but unfortunately I had to make a lot of changes. There's only 2 remaining members, if you can remember that team, and the rest I just had to kind of change up. So I replaced Mega Banette with Meowstick. I really needed a bulkier setter, so I went with Meowstick. It's not as bulky, as it leads you to believe. It gets one-hit KO'd by a lot of things, but with Mental Herb and Safeguard, it does prevent a lot of taunt and a lot of status going around, which is very useful. I'm not too certain about Quick Guard. Brave Bird doesn't really threaten my team, as you can see. It barely touches anything here. So I don't know if I really want it. I'm not really worried about priority. There's not too much priority here that does threaten my team. I Aqua Jet for Rotom Heat, but outside of that, there's really not much. So I don't know if I'm going to really stick with that. Sucker Punch would be something that I want to protect against, but it's not necessary, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know about this Quick Guard yet, but that's fine. Next up was Druddigon. I wanted a dragon to counter Charizard, and I went with this. It's not really going to counter Charizard, unfortunately, but it hits really, really hard. I could switch out Fire Punch for Rock Slide, and Sheer Force Life Orb would definitely allow me to do that, but that would kind of open me up to Steel types. So I'm not really sure what I want to do yet with this Druddigon. Dragon Claw is kind of weak, even though it is base 120. It is kind of weak, so maybe I could just swap that out for something like that would be stronger with Sheer Force. It doesn't get Ice Punch, unfortunately, so that would be my only way to hit dragons, so I'm not really sure. I probably will keep this. Next up is Mawile. This is a Mawile that I've used on plenty of teams before. Same moveset. I might switch out Sucker Punch for Ice Punch, just to give me an extra thing, like player off at -1 from like a Salamence or a Landorus isn't going to really do much, but if I have an Ice Punch, that would do better. But it's kind of like the same vein as Mega Kangaskhan that I had on that one team. I got rid of Sucker Punch for Crunch, so I know I don't necessarily need Sucker Punch, but having priority is kind of nice, so I'm not sure yet about that. Sylveon replaced Togekiss because basically Sylveon with Assault Vest is a lot bulkier than Togekiss. Hyper Voice does a lot more damage than Dazzling Gleam, and it just gets better coverage than Togekiss. Air Slash wasn't doing very much for me. Psyshock is kind of nice. I wish it got Psychic. I might be wrong. It might actually get Psychic, which would be kind of awesome. No, it doesn't get Psychic. So, I prefer Psychic, but Psyshock's still a pretty solid move, so that's why I chose Sylveon over Togekiss. I don't really like Air Slash. It doesn't do very much for me. And then we got Rotom Heat. Same Rotom Heat, nothing changed. And Porygon 2, I swapped out Magikarp because I did have Meowstick now for Recover. So that's really all that there is to that new team. So let's look for a battle. I'm going to go to VGC 15, and we're going to use this one. Yep, Puppet Master. That's what I call this team because it was based around Mega Banette, and unfortunately I did get rid of it. It just wasn't doing a lot. Base 165 attack was really helping, but at the same time, it could barely set up Trick Room against anything. You know what I'm saying? So it looks like we've got Gengar, Gliscor, Skarmory, Manectric, Diggersby, and Hydreigon. I'm thinking my best bet might actually be Sylveon Porygon 2. That's going to hit pretty much everything here super, super hard. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go for, and Porygon 2 will basically guarantee a setup against everything. And if he has, like, Gengar against the Sylveon, that'll put him in a position, where he might not want to taunt. There's a couple of things here that can get taunt, mainly these 3. So yeah, just to make sure, and I don't know if I really want Mawile. Mawile could be pretty useful. I know I want to bring Rotom Heat because that's going to be useful for a few of these things. And I'm thinking, you know what? Yeah, let's go for Mawile. That Hydreigon might be a problem if we don't get rid of it easily. I mean, we do have Sylveon, you know, double fairies is pretty nice. You know, my favorite kind of core nowadays is the fantasy core, which is what we kind of have. We got the Dragon Steel fairy. So it looks like he starts off with Skarmory and Manectric. Now, I'm thinking the Skarmory's probably going to go for Taunt. But, you know, I don't really care, so I'm just going to go for Hyper Voice here. We'll see how much that does, and I'm going to go for Trick Room. I kind of doubt he's running Taunt, and that's why I didn't, like, switch out or anything. I'm going for Hyper Voice. I mainly want to catch the Manectric. Not too worried about the Skarmory. The worst it could really do is Brave Bird. I know it gets, like, Steel Wing and stuff like that, but that won't really damage my Sylveon, I'm pretty sure. I really like Assault Vest Sylveon. It takes hits like nobody's business. This thing's actually pretty decent at, yeah, I'm going to go over here real quick. You know, if it had, like, I think it gets Thunderbolt. No, I'm wrong. I wish it did, because that would be really nice for Charizard Y, because I can definitely stay in against a Charizard Y here. And I haven't gotten to really doing team sheets for this, and you'll see what I mean about team sheets in an episode later, which kind of reminds me of the question of the day. Like, what would you like me to cover in Competitive Corner? You know, that's basically a series where I talk about competitive stuff. I go through teams and stuff like that. So what would you want me to cover? Today's episode, which will be being released later, probably 2 hours from this video. Crunch, okay. And Stealth Rocks. Okay, so I don't think we're playing against a very competitively charged team. Crunching a Sylveon and then going for Stealth Rocks isn't great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to HP Fire the Skarmory, and I'm going to go for Tri-Attack on the Manectric. I think that should take out the Manectric. I'm not 100% certain. But yeah, so today's episode I'm going to be going through the process that I do for team building, and, like, you know, inception, team start, team test, and then finalize. And I'll be doing that with a couple of different examples. But, like, what would you want me to do? Like, oh, that doesn't take it out. Wow, does that not take it out? That's why I hate that this thing doesn't get Flamethrower. Whirlwind, interesting. Okay, so that's actually not that bad for me. Whirlwind, that's kind of silly. As long as he doesn't Whirlwind in my... Well, Rotom Heat could have come in. That would have been pleasant. I could probably still take this thing out with Iron Head. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. We'll see what he brings in. He doesn't really have anything to bring in here, to be quite honest with you. Gliscor is probably the only thing he has. No, he's going to bring in Gengar. So I'm going to Mega Evolve. I'm going to actually... Ooh, he could Will-O-Wisp me. I don't think he's going to. So I'm going to Iron Head that, and I'm going to try attack the Skarmory. I'm thinking he's probably going to Whirlwind out the Mawile again. I'm worried that he's not actually going to go for a move. So I'm going for Iron Head so I don't miss and it's not resisted. And that should still, if it's not Sash, that should just take it out. So I wasn't too worried about that. Tri-Attack, it's so close. So he does Whirlwind me out, and that actually brings me back into Sylveon. So that's still a really good switch for me. And we still have 3 turns left to Trick Room. So, or 2 turns, I think, because that's how Showdown works. So whatever he brings out here, you know, Sylveon can handle. Sylveon can definitely handle it. Yeah, so far so good. And it's going to be Gliscor, so I'm just going to go for Hyper Voice, and I'm going to try attack the Gliscor as well. I don't think that'll take out the Gliscor. Hyper Voice is pretty damn strong, but I don't think it will take that out. You know, Sylveon really doesn't have a lot of special attack to its name. Like let me just show you. It only has base 110, so its moves like Psyshock, Shadow Ball, and Hidden Power Fire don't really hit very hard. But Hyper Voice, since it's boosted 30% as well on top of Stab, it hits a lot harder than, you know, most fairy types, which is why it's one of the most used, simply because of the Hyper Voice, I think. But I think because of its bulk, you know, and Assault Vest, that makes it really useful. So that does a decent amount. That'll probably take it. Oh, it doesn't. I was so close. So close. And he's going to go for Earthquake, and that's not going to do very much. And we still have 1 more turn left of Trick Room. So I'm just going to go for... Hyper Voice and Tri Attack, and that'll take out the Gliscor. The Tri Attack will take out the Gliscor. Porygon 2 is definitely has become one of my favorite Trick Room setters. He's gonna protect, not a big deal. I don't even need to reset Trick Room because there's no way. I mean, he could. How much did Tri Attack do? It did 33. So yeah, even if he subs here, he's still dead. Actually, he can't sub because I have Hyper Voice. Perfect for me. Yeah, that's another thing. I really like that Hyper Voice breaks through subs. That's just lovely. You know, there's a lot of things that sub up, and a lot of things that you want to just break through their sub, you know. So that should be game right there. Pretty solid. I really like the way this team is formatted now. It's definitely very, 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 very solid now. And then tomorrow we'll probably use a different team just to show you what I'm working on, what's coming around. But the other two teams that I have aren't really finalized yet. Actually, I have 3 teams, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, okay, so that should just, yep, take it out. I'm going to say good game, and we're going to move on to another battle. He just left, okay. I don't like when people just randomly leave, you know. Just because you lost doesn't mean it wasn't a good game. You know? You know. Okay, so let's see what this is. Ooh, Regigigas. I like Regigigas. Does Mental Herb protect me from Encore? Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with Meowstic. Although he could start off with Bisharp, and I actually... Ooh, I could start off with Rotom Heat, and then switch out... Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think my best bet might actually be Porygon 2 and Rotom Heat. And then Mega Mawile and Sylveon. Pretty much the same thing. Actually, the exact same thing as the last battle we just did. But I think that's probably our best bet. You know, that Gyarados is going to be kind of an issue. Maybe. Okay, so we got Regigigas and Whimsicott. Oh man, we get slow start. Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna simply Tri Attack and HP Ice the Whimsicott. I wish we got Prankster, man. I can't believe we got slow start. That won't really affect us because we're not looking for attack at all. Ooh, Worry Seed. Okay, interesting. Okay, so that does a decent chunk. Icy Wind. Oh, that's silly. I'm a Trick Room team. What are you doing, bud? What are you doing? Okay, so that does good damage. I'm not, you know, going for any Trick Room or anything, you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in Mawile here. Hopefully he doesn't bring in Bisharp. I don't see why he would. This way, you know, I could just kind of Mega Evolve and not have to worry about Bisharp from then on, you know. It doesn't look like he's going to switch in. So I got a -1 on Regigigas, which is going to be very helpful. Worry Seed. Very interesting choice of moves. So I am going to Mega Evolve here. He Worry Seed me, but that doesn't matter anymore because I'm just going to Mega Evolve. So thanks for the thanks for the insomnia. Although it really depends on what he brings in. If he brings in Talonflame, no, it's going to be Zapdos. So I'm going to go for Trick Room here. I'm going to Mega Evolve. He could go for Heat Wave. I don't think that will take me out. It's not Stab. There's no Sun. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to Iron Head the... Well, let's go for Trick Room. And let's see. Do I want to Iron Head or Play Rough? I'm going to go for Play Rough. That does a little bit more damage. He might have Earthquake, but I'm not too concerned about that. I do still have Sylveon in the back, which will rock these two pretty hard. I mean, Regigigas. I really like Regigigas. He actually goes for Drain Punch. That does nothing, really. And it misses us. I'm pretty sure we would have survived that. He has Life Orb, though, so that's something to remember. And we do get Trick Room off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for Recover here, and I'm going to go for Iron Head. Player off did 68. Yeah, Iron Head will KO, so that's fine. That's fine. The reason I'm not going for Zapdos is, like I said, I do have Sylveon in the back and Rotom Heat. So I'm not too concerned about it. You know, he's going to go for Heat Wave. That should not take out my Mawile. Without a doubt in my mind, that should not take me out. So I should be pretty safe to not even bother with the Zapdos. And eventually, you know, I'll probably play her off. It depends on what he brings in next. If it's Bisharp, I'm going to go for the Bisharp first. If it's Talonflame, I'll go for the Zapdos because I have Rotom for Talonflame. And if it's anything but the Bisharp, I'll go for the Zapdos. If it's the Bisharp, I go for the Bisharp. So we get our HP back. That's going to be very useful, and we do knock out the Regigigas. He does go for Heat Wave, and wow, that does actually quite a lot of damage to me. I kind of forgot that it was Life Orb. But like I said, it doesn't matter. It depends on what he brings out next. If it's Gyarados, if it's Gyarados and Talonflame, we have, obviously, Rotom Heat. If it's Bisharp, we still have Rotom Heat, but we can Iron Head it at the very least. Maybe burn it with Tri-Attack, so we'll have to see. I don't know why he's taking time. You only have one Pokemon to switch into. Might as well switch into it. Doesn't take that hard to think about it. I like Showdown. I really do. It makes it very easy to test teams, make new teams, come up with good ideas. I love it. Although the bottom of the ladder... Oh, he forfeited. Oh, that's not fun. Okay. Oh, ooh, Talonflame. That was weird. Talonflame probably wouldn't take us out, so at that point I would just play her off the Zapdos and try attack the Talonflame and then bring in my Rotom Heat, and from there we would have won. We would have lost Mawile, but that's fine. Alright, well, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'll show you a preview of the team we'll be using tomorrow. I have to figure it out. Which one are we going to do? This one is probably what we're going to do. Mega Slowbro team with these guys. And I don't know why this has Icicle Plate. No freaking clue. But I just don't feel like changing it. And there's one other thing I want to show you guys. I'm working on this. I'm making my own Con Artist lead. I'm going to change that to Con Artist. I like that title better. But, you know, I don't want to do Dark Void, so... Okay, so let me just kind of explain the premise of this core. So when you see this core, you automatically think Fake Out Dark Void, right? So you either double protect, or you just try and stall out the Dark Void. So, what this core attempts to do is we get the Trick Room up with Smeargle the first turn, and then Hammer Arm with the Kangaskhan the first turn. So we get a -1 speed with Kangaskhan in Trick Room. The next turn, we transform into the Kangaskhan, right? And then we have two -1 speed Kangaskhan's in Trick Room. How awesome is that? And I'm pretty sure Transform you can switch out of, so that's not a big deal. And I'm really, really excited for that. Plus, we get like a Moody boost, hopefully. I'm going to try it out. I think it could be pretty sweet. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you guys in the next episode. Peace.